Nike Air Jordan 1s coming in under the radar? What am I talking about? That would never happen. But you know what? I think it is happening. I think there's a big move in the Jordan world, sneaker world in general, to sort of expand the scope of the Jordan 1 low. It's becoming a bigger shoe. It's got more of a footprint than it did have before. It was kind of like a token, shall we say, to the Jordan 1 line. I mean, the Jordan 1 mids and definitely, of course, the Jordan 1 highs are huge. But the Jordan 1 lows are just sort of coming along and they're coming in under the radar. And this shoe in particular has got so many little hits on it that make so much sense in so many different places. It's the kind of thing, it's coming in under the radar. People aren't really paying attention, but they're going to be like, oh, hold on a minute. Jordan 1 lows are cool. And I can think of a lot of different places to wear Jordan 1 lows, and these ones in particular are ticking all the boxes for me. And I'm going to be taking you through that all today. We'll look at why it is that the Jordan 1 is actually becoming a bigger shoe and broader sort of scope out there, broader impact on the sneaker world, and also taking a close-up look at these guys in particular to find out what makes this a great shoe. So without further ado, let's get into this and take a look at the Nike Air Jordan 1 Low Smoke Grey. This is the Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channel. Tokyo Bada 23 Sneaker Channelです。毎日アップするので毎日見てください。And every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And what we've got in the spotlight today is an Air Jordan 1 Low. And I've done a few of these, and there's one in particular that I really liked that had a sort of imprint of kind of Hawaiian kind of feel to it with tropical palm trees and stuff like that. And it was a really nice Air Jordan 1 Low. But I've looked at a few of them, looked at a lot of Air Jordan 1 mids and looked at a ton of Air Jordan 1 highs. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these shoes, and I see the shoe getting to a point in its history where it's going to sort of have a bigger kind of impact on the sneaker world out there. And I was talking about that earlier in this video, and what I mean by that is that I think these shoes are starting to become acceptable to be worn in many different circumstances. They're going beyond the sort of sneaker community, and now people are starting to wear Jordan 1 lows in a lot of semi-casual situations where they wouldn't have worn them before. Oh, Nike, oh, Jordan, no, you can't wear that in this kind of scenario. But I think what you're seeing now is that they're making colorways in a certain way and they look really good, that they're almost a dress shoe. They're close enough to a dress shoe that people can wear them in semi-casual situations. Now, of course, I'm not talking about for a business meeting or to work on a Monday morning. I don't see that happening anytime soon. But, you know, those sort of, you know, business events or things like that is where I see this shoe going. And this one in particular, I can see a lot of people saying, you know what, I'm going to buy that shoe because I can see tons of different places that I'd wear it. Not just, going out with my friends to a bar. I think there's a lot of different places that someone could wear a shoe like this. But then there's also a little echo of something else that I didn't mention yet. But I can't help but look at this shoe without looking at this shoe right here. And I did a video about a week and a half ago about these Travis Scott tie-ups with the PlayStation and the Dunk line. And they seem very, very similar. And I can't get away from the idea that maybe there's just a little bit of conversation going on between the different brands at Nike. And they're saying, well, we've got this really hot shoe coming down the line. If you put out this shoe alongside it, it's going to look good. Now, they did that with the Dior's and the Jordans, with Jordan 1 highs, where they brought out a very similar looking shoe. They've done it with the Travis Scott 1, the Jordan 1s, with the reverse swoosh on the side of it. And then we've got those mochas that dropped very, very recently, just here in Japan a couple of days ago, and very similar looking shoes. And then now we've got that PlayStation tie-up with the Dunk line and Travis Scott looking very, very much like this Air Jordan 1 Low. So there are sort of, you know, echoes sort of echoing across the two different brands or three different brands or any of the brands at the Nike stable right now. And that's what I see when I look at these guys. I might be wrong about that. Maybe there's more to this shoe than meets the eye, but I definitely think they're choosing to drop it right now because of that echo, like I said, of the Travis Scott PlayStation Dunk Lows. So that being said, let's get into this and talk about the shoe. There's a lot on there that I think is very, very cool. Like I said, to me, Jordan 1 Low lows in general are kind of moving towards a more versatile shoe that can be used in many different situations and not just, like I said, hanging out with friends. And then also that tie up with the dunks, but then we actually have to look at this shoe and the detailing on it that makes it very, very cool. Now, there's something about it to me that makes it look like, I couldn't get away from this word. I wish I had a different word, but I don't. Maybe you do, and you can tell me in the comments down below. But compartmentalized. There's something about the way this shoe looks that it's like all the black bits are in one place, the grey bits in one place, and the white bits in one place. And I know it's not that simple. It's not like the front third black, the middle third grey, the back third white. I know it's not that simple, but there's something about the way the colours are put together on this shoe that makes it feel really solid. And it's an important feel for the shoe. It might not be an important like design feature, but just as the feeling of the shoe goes, it's like, they've really it's really sleek or smooth, or there's something about the way it all just flows together that really makes sense to me. And to talk about that, let's start at the front and we'll work our way back. And the thing I want to start with is the toe box, with that white toe box and the grey wraparound on it or overlay on it. And you should be able to see that here. And I can't tell you the number of times in recent days that I've talked about the quality of materials on a shoe that has a white element to it, and it doesn't show up very well on the green screen. So hopefully what you'll be able to see is that grey giving contrast to that white, and that provides a feeling for the quality of the leather materials on the toe end of this shoe. But then if we come back from that and look at that lacing unit that I was talking about, the black laces, the black tongue, and the black top line at the back end of the shoe all come together to make a really solid top half of the shoe. And then right at the top of all that, you've got the Jumpman up there in red on top of the tongue, so black tongues all around, and then that red stitched Jumpman up there is a very cool feature, and it gives it a little bit of colour without being too much, because if that was more red, for example, if the outside edge of the tongue was red, for example, then you wouldn't be able to wear these in that many situations that I was saying before. But because of the grey, white and black feel to it, and the red here on the tongue is semi-hidden, then it's acceptable, if you like, to wear these in a semi-casual setting. And if we go back from that, it's not too hard to look down to the insole, and you'll see a reverse of that black tongue with the red branding on there. You see in the insole it's a red tongue with the black branding on there. And the reason why I'm kind of stressing that is because the insole itself maybe isn't so important, but what is important is where the Wings logo goes on these shoes and what they look like. So let's get round to the heel, because usually a Wings logo will be in a different place on a Jordan, but when you haven't got a mid or a high area to play with, you kind of have to bring it down as low as possible. And here we are in the heel section. It's a grey heel section with a red embroidered Wings logo on there. And again, the embroidered element to that, instead of it being stamped on there, it being embroidered on there, creates that luxe feel to the shoe and gives it a little bit more class. And again, that's why you can wear these in many, many different situations. And then back out to look at the whole shoe from the lateral side. There's a couple of details on it that are important to note. One is the black swoosh on the side, which is important because it creates a sort of layered effect to that black unit I talked about, being the laces, the tongue, and the top line above, black swoosh in the middle, and then almost equidistant between that top bit, the middle bit, and then the bottom bit is the black outsole on these guys, and a white midsole. And again, it's a great choice that allows these shoes the versatility to be worn in many, many different situations. And I could see this particular colorway having a really strong run, because a lot of people will say, I can wear that in a lot of different places. But there are other Jordan 1 lows as well that I think will also have that kind of crossover appeal. And that's what they're going for, in my opinion, at the Jordan 1 low line, is that crossover appeal, not just from the sort of social and the casual, but also into a bit more structured and a bit more formal. And this shoe very much leads the way on that. Now, one thing I didn't mention, actually two things I didn't mention. One was the drop date, which is predicted for November 27th. And most likely this video is probably going to go up on, I want to say, November 24th, so a couple of days before the drop date. Usually I like to be a week or two before the drop date, not just a few days. But in the case of these ones, there was something a bit interesting, was the Jordan 4 Fire Reds. I've been humming and hawing about whether to make a video about them, especially because of my tie-up with the Jordan Breads, the Jordan 4 Breads. But I decided not to. I thought, you know what, while everybody's focus is on the bigger shoes of the season, let's do an under-the-radar video about these Jordan 1 lows. And I think, like I said, I think this is one that will catch people by surprise and do fairly well for itself. Okay, it's time for me to sign off and do what I do at the end of every video, because I do this every single day. I say the same thing at the end of every single video. But one of my viewers out there likes it when I do this, when I really look into the camera and say this last bit. So I'll really look into the camera and say that because I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow.